Now, I know what you guys are thinking. You're seeing the title, you're seeing the thumbnail of this video, and you're assuming that I'm going to go along the same basic points about how Tom Aspinall is an extremely difficult matchup for Jon Jones. Jon, he doesn't want to take the risk against a young up-and-comer in his prime. He's avoiding that fight at all costs. He's waiting for an old Stipe just to kind of pad his resume, and then he's planning on getting the fuck out of the heavyweight division. I understand that's probably where you guys think I'm going to go with this video, but to be honest, I mean, I don't think you could be more wrong. I don't think you could be more wrong because I think everything I just said is a massive understatement. I mean, completely just fucking, I mean, that's such an understatement that I don't even think that's accurate. I don't even think that's true. I think Tom Aspinall is such a nightmare for Jon Jones. I think he is literally everything Jon Jones struggles with in the UFC. To give what I think is a fair comparison, if Jon Jones is Batman from The Dark Knight Rises, then Tom Aspinall is Majin Buu with Gotenks and Ultimate Gohan absorbed. Okay, I think that's kind of a fair power scaling structure to look at this matchup. If you look at Tom Aspinall's most recent fight against Curtis Blaydes, it was frankly kind of scary. I mean, you got Tom Aspinall, 6'5", 260 pounds, and he is just so light on his feet. He's so fast. He's basically a 260-pound welterweight. I mean, that's the best way I can put it. He's gliding around the octagon, constantly feinting with his hands, and he has such a speed advantage over all of his opponents that he's always just waiting for them to move in with a strike, and he's always ready to counter. See, I mean, at this point, Curtis Blaydes, he was throwing a lot of 1-2s. I mean, he was really trying to box with Tom. You know, I know he made a big point about how, hey, if I fought Alex Pereira, I'm shooting the first second. I'm shooting over and over. I'm not trying to stand with him. I'm constantly shooting it. Well, you know, he's fighting Tom Aspinall. Frankly, I would say, and, you know, like in terms of first-round knockouts, he's got a lot of them. I mean, clearly he's extremely dangerous on the feet, and clearly we know that Curtis Blaydes has an issue with getting knocked out. So, you know, you'd assume the takedowns would start flying for him as well, but no, he stood, he tried to box with Tom Aspinall, and it was a terrible idea. I mean, I would say about this point right here, Curtis was pretty fucked. He's trying to extend in with a straight shot, and Tom Aspinall saw it coming from a mile away. He slipped the jab, and he is just ready to punish him. He lands a jab right as Curtis is moving in, and he misses the right hand. But, you know, it didn't matter. You know, you got all that weight and all that speed. A jab is all it takes to put Curtis down, and that's the fight. And my only question at this point is, well, what the fuck was Curtis expecting to happen? I mean, Sergey Pavlovich, who I understand people don't view him in the same light as they did before, because in the Volkov fight, we learned that Pavlovich just has absolutely no ability to close distance against somebody taller and rangier than him. But prior to that, you know, against guys his height and his size, his boxing combinations are absolutely lethal. Right? I mean, he destroyed Curtis Blaydes, and that fight was not close at all. And, you know, he was also known for super quick hand speed, and Tom Aspinall still had such a speed advantage over him that he timed his right hand perfectly and landed essentially the exact same shot that he did to Curtis Blaydes. So what was Curtis thinking boxing with him? I don't know. I have no idea. But, you know, what's so scary is that, you know, we understand Tom Aspinall is a really good boxer. We understand he's super fast. I mean, Tyson Fury is one of this guy's main sparring partners. You know, if that's not terrifying enough, I don't know what is. But the other thing is he's just so well-rounded. You know, his wrestling is really good. His submissions are really good. For me, it's the timing on his takedowns that I like so much. Every time he enters into the pocket with a flurry, he always ends it with a takedown. Guys are so worried about his striking, you know, it really opens up. And as soon as you hit the ground, he's got really good submissions. And it's just all around a very difficult puzzle to solve. Something that I've said in the past, the only kind of gray area we have about Aspinall is we've never really seen him off his back in the octagon. We've never seen him against a really high-level wrestler, putting him down, and, you know, how he looks from there. But given the fact he's so well-rounded in every single area, you can only assume he's competent there as well. You know, we're not going to know for sure, but At the end of the day, it's so insanely difficult to get him in that position because you have to set up your takedown well. I mean, that's the simple fact of the matter. You can't just get a hold of Tom Aspinall and expect to trip him. You need to set it up very, very well. And of course, that's going to be so difficult to do when his timing, his distance management, his feints, and his combinations are so brutally fast. And then you look at Jon Jones, and you look at what kind of fighter he struggles with in the octagon. The first time we had ever seen Jon Jones have some issues was against Alexander Gustafsson. And the attributes that Alexander Gustafsson had was he was tall, he was fast, very good boxer with good takedown defense. Because Jon Jones, for how well-rounded he is as well, for how dangerous he is, he does not have a whole lot of punching power, and he's never been known to rely on his boxing. I mean, he just hasn't. So when you got a guy who's super fast, who can enter into range, get past his long reach because they're also so tall and so long, they can land short combinations and then get out of range again. And every single time Jon shoots, they have the capabilities to defend the takedowns. All while at the same time having really good movement on the outside and never getting tracked down and never being stationary. That is something that Gustafsson did so well. That is where Jon has always struggled with, because the other guy who matched those attributes was Dominic Reyes. An exact same thing. He was 6'5". He could kind of match Jones's reach. He was super athletic, quick, good takedown defense, and good boxing. And we saw the exact same thing in that fight as we did in the Alexander Gustafsson fight. Reyes would blitz in with his speed, get in the pocket, land combinations, and every single time Jon shot a takedown, Reyes was just using fucking gorilla strength, peeling his hands off, and he just did an amazing job keeping the fight where he was at his best. Now, since that fight, we've learned that Dominic Reyes is weak to big power punchers. That's not Jon Jones, and that is why he did so well in that matchup. And then you look at Tom Aspinall, and then you really start to understand just how bad it is for Jon in this sense, because Tom Aspinall encapsulates all of that, and he's a 6'5" heavyweight. You know what I mean? It's just all around. It's terrible for Jon. It's terrible in every single sense of the word. And look, I honestly cannot blame Jon in this sense. I know I cannot blame him. If I were him, I would genuinely, suicide would be on the table, because you've got this perfect storybook career essentially. You know, your biggest rival, Daniel Cormier, failed to do what you're trying to do right now, which is be a double champ, defend the belt a couple times, and then get out with, essentially an undefeated record. But now you've got this guy in Tom Aspinall, who is the interim champion, who absolutely deserves to fight you, and he is the embodiment of everything you struggle with. I mean, what are you going to do in that situation? The second Jon Jones retires without fighting Tom Aspinall, that is going to be forever remembered as the guy that Jon Jones ducked. And man, that just sucks. I mean, that just sucks. I genuinely feel bad for the guy, but at the same time, I don't feel bad for the guy because he's a terrible person and he should fight Tom Aspinall and he should get destroyed, right? I just think that Jon, he's screwed no matter where this fight goes. Look, on the feet, what's he going to do? He's going to be standing right in front of Tom with his hands out, oblique kick into the knees, but the problem is Tom's movement is so good. I mean, good luck fucking obliquing his knee while he's standing still. I mean, he's not going to be. He's going to be circling and constantly feinting. And you're going to have no idea when he's going to enter into range with a super quick combination. And Jones, he's going to dive for the takedown. And if he doesn't set it up well, which I don't know how he would set it up well without, a really high proficiency with his hands, Aspinall's going to see the takedowns coming. And like I said, I do think there's a chance maybe that we see Tom get taken down, and all of a sudden we found an area where he may struggle, and maybe Jon can pull it out there. But I'm just not super bullish on that opportunity, and I think if that doesn't work, I really don't see a path to victory for Jon. And is Jon really going to take this fight off the chance maybe Aspinall is just super weak in one particular area? Is Jon really going to risk his entire legacy on that possible proposition? I don't believe Dominic Reyes or Gustafsson had the same proficiency with their hands as Aspinall does. You know, they were both very good boxers, but Tom Aspinall, that is his absolute A game. I mean, I think he is the best we've ever seen in the heavyweight division. I mean, I think that's the best we've ever seen out of any heavy guy, plus 205 pounds. And man, fuck, poor Jon Jones, right?